Hey guys, welcome back. Now, got the engine out. I've pulled it down. Sorry I didn't get videos of that. I just got stuck into it, so I can try and work out what parts I need and what needs to be done to the block, so I can send it away and stuff. I still don't know what parts and stuff I'm getting for the engine, so I won't elaborate into that much, but I'll show you the look at all the parts laid out, ready to go. So I've got it all down here. So here's all the pistons, cam, crank. I've got the block sitting there. Got the heads, the valves off them, push rods. The motor's filthy. The rear main seal, it was a rope seal, and the rope was pushed around and sitting like a centimetre out, so no wonder it was leaking so bad. But once I get the engine didn't fit on the engine stand, so I've taken the plate off the engine stand to work, and I've made a cardboard template of the back of that so it can get the engine stand to work. But once it's on that, we're going to do a little bit of a die grind in here to make the oil flow back down to the bottom end a bit quicker. So all in here. It's not in too bad condition. One of the pistons, I might be able to find it. So this piston here, before we pulled it out, we noticed there was no carbon build up on the bottom at all, like there was on all the others. So not 100% sure if the injector was leaking and it's just been washing the piston, but I'll show you the other ones. Like that's pretty clean there. And I'll show you one of the other ones. That's number 2, that was. And this is one of the other ones. So there's a fair bit of difference there. There's a little bit of wear, like run my finger along there and it grabs a little bit on a couple of them, but it's not too bad. Everything's getting sent away to get all machine work done anyway. But I read up, these are a 308 crank, and to make them to 304, they grind them down, because apparently they had so many 308 cranks left in the factory when they were building these, so they just modified them, which is interesting, I thought. But other than that, the caps, they got a few wear marks, but they're nothing dramatic. Yeah, the only thing was that number 2 piston. I'm not sure if the injector has been leaking and just washed it, but it's filthy, needs a clean. But before it gets sent away, we'll have to die grind all in there. That way, when it goes up there and actually gets cleaned professionally, and then say we brought it back and then ground all this, there wouldn't be metal shavings throughout the whole thing. So the heads were pretty good too. They weren't too bad. It's had a different set of head. It had an aftermarket set of head gaskets on it, so I think the heads have been off before. It wasn't bad. Pistons had a bit of movement when they were in here, but that's normal with its age and being worn. But other than that, we'll have to, before we know what size pistons we need. It'll get sent away, and I will measure it up, but they'll also do all the honing and stuff like that. I've been talking to a bloke about relocating my fuse box. Now, originally I've already moved it. They do face that way, so I've cut the mounts off and I've faced it this way. And I've also cut all the wires inside and ran them inside the guard here. But now I want to do it proper, so I'm putting it in the glove box. Getting it out of the engine bay. I want to get most wires I can out of the engine bay. So I'm going to start pulling the dash out in a sec, but I'm going to be cutting the wires for the fuse panel, feeding them back through, marking everything. I'll have the dash out, extend the wires, then I'm going to mount it nice and neatly up in the glove box. So I haven't been filming much because it's dark in here and phone's a little flat. So I've got all parts of the dash apart. I'm nearly down to pulling the main bolts out. So I just pulled the last screw out and it seems to be loose, so I'm gonna pull the dash out now. So I've now got the dash out. All the interior parts are there, dash is there. And it's gonna make it so much easier to rewire it now that dash is out. It's gonna make it so much easier to undo the brake booster and everything. So down here I've got all the wires taped up at two ends. So 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. There's a 5, 5. There's a G for green, and there's a 5 for one single black, and then there's a B for one single black. So they're nearly ready to just chop straight down the middle and start feeding these wires back. Okay, they're all cut now. This is where things get scary. Now I'm just relying off my marks. 1, 1, 2, 2. So I'm gonna pull this back through and go from there. So I'm gonna leave it there for tonight. Just got them wires cut and labelled. I'm just working out which ones I have to cut here for the headlights and to mark them. Got all the ones inside here all labelled, which then just need extending, bringing up this way, follow that loom across, and then make up a bracket to mount the fuse panel. So things have changed. All this wiring that I've been doing, I'm gonna stop doing that and I'm gonna start on doing something else. So I plan on, I'm gonna get a Holtec computer for the ute. That way I won't need to run all them wires, and it's just gonna change from there. So it's not bad that I pulled the dash out, because we'll probably still run the wires that are down there, like only some of them over and then into a custom fuse box inside the glove box. But I've pulled the engine loom out, so I'm just started pulling other things out of the engine bay. But I've worked out, I called up an engine builder from up in Sydney, and they gave me a rough price of what I wanted, which was a worked 304, which is standard stroke, cam, headwork, things like that. And they gave me a price on that, and they said the only way I'd be making power out of the standard stroke is if I rev it to 7200 RPM, so which is pushing it. So the extra couple grand, $3,000 or so, it's going to be probably better, because it's better to go 355 stroke. So because the crank has a bit of wear in it, so the crank's going to need machining. And if I work out the price of the crank getting machined, it's nearly less $100, a few $100 cheaper to get a stroker crank. And the pistons are probably, the rods is probably where the extra price comes in as well. Rods, crank, and stroker relieve in the block. That's where the extra price comes in to turn it to a stroke. But yeah, so that's the change of plans. Engine's going to be a 355 stroker. The wiring that I've cut, I'm just going to stop it there. I'm going to put a Hall Tech in it. I'm going to run the wires, like still run some wires to the glove box there. And I'm going to start ripping stuff out of the engine bay and get to shaving the engine bay, making it nice and smooth, knocking all these dents out and stuff. So I got the AC pipes out. Next step would be just get rid of vacuum hoses, take the brake booster out, get rid of these lines here, and probably, I'm not 100% sure about pulling them fuel lines out and running my own fuel lines. I'll leave them for now because I can still work around them. So tie these up out of the way, get rid of them, and start grinding and doing some stuff. I'm going to get into ripping the brake booster out and just might take this cable out, pull the throttle cable through, and just pull the ignition box off, and the ignition module off, and then just prep the bay. Car's been on charge overnight, so I'm just gonna start her up and let it run for a little bit. While the car was warming up, I decided to blow out some of the shit in the engine bay and just give it a bit of a wipe down. So I'm just getting it ready so I can start doing some body work to it. Now the engine bay is all stripped, I'm going to leave that video there, and next video we'll be back with doing a bit of body work and prep work on the engine bay. So like, subscribe, comment down below if you want to know any information about any of my cars, my BZ, Supercharged BZ Alloy Tech, the build that I'm doing right now, 355 stroker VS Commodore Ute Burnout build, my wagon, anything. If you want to know any information, just comment down below and hit subscribe to watch more, and I'll see you in the next video.